just in this moment, I think we could all already be live. Let me. What happens now? Already be live. Let me. Yes, I think we are live and
So yeah, I hope that everybody got the link, because some mentioned that they were not aware of the webinar.
yes,
Did you email the
we are
invitation to
live
everybody?
and
So yeah, I hope that everybody got the link, because some mentioned that they were not aware of the webinar.
hello, Bernard.
Yes.
Just a moment. We are already live, but there is something that I have to adjust. I hear an echo.
Yeah.
Somebody has a window open with the no more echo.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah.
Just a moment. We are already live, but there is something that I have to adjust.
Let me check some sharing.
I hear an echo.
Yeah.
Somebody has a window open with the no more echo. Yes, I think somebody has a window open, maybe.
Hey, yeah, Jim.
Okay. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Okay, so I think we can maybe start.
Okay.
Let me check.
Let me check the sharing.
Chris Stevens. Oh, boy. He needs to add you as a domain. All right. Shit.
Yes, I have.
You can't get access to the domain.
So check the sharing.
Okay. I'll contact him right away.
Well, so okay,
Okay, that works.
well,
The sharing.
let's start. Sorry for the initial confusion. However,
Okay.
everybody, welcome to this end of the year Space Renaissance.
Yeah, and Chris is no longer in our section. We need to.
Let me check.
You know, he put up a number of things like our website and our email, and I don't use those things. We do use the domain name, so I'll contact him right away, Jim.
We have to mute everybody, and only unmute when you want to talk. Okay? So
Yes.
I think we don't have any echo anymore. I hope so. I hope so. Okay. So I repeat, very, very welcome everybody. This is the end of the year Christmas party of Space Renaissance. And our special guest today is Professor Bernard Foing. He is the president of SRI. He was elected in 2021 at our last Congress. And today he will give us a presentation about what SRI has done in 2025, what will be done in 2026. And I believe we have other members of our board that will take the floor and tell us something about what we're doing, what they have done, and these kind of things. So, who is Professor Bernard Foing? I think everybody knows him, but I would like to introduce him a little bit. Just give me a moment to recover everything. Special Christmas party. Professor Bernard Foing, I see that I don't have his bio here, but okay, everybody knows him. He is the president of Space Science International, and he is also the chair of Lunex and Eurospace Hub, and a project that put together a lot of young professionals and students uh, to experiment with analog astronautic programs, simulating missions on the moon and Mars, and a lot of activities of this kind. And Professor Foing is also a wrestler traveler around the world. He is everywhere. There's somebody speaking about space. He is there, bringing the the flag of space renaissance, and talking with everybody about our mission, our support of human expansion into outer space. And
Okay.
I think it's time to give
Yeah,
the
okay. So, okay,
give-
let's start
Bernard,
because, yes, I would like
go
to
ahead.
give the floor also to all the board members and other members of Space Renaissance. So, welcome towards this end of the year to all our friends from Space Renaissance International. So, I prepared a presentation I'd like to share. We just checked before the sharing. Can I share again? Oh,
Please
before I
go.
could share.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, yeah. So do you see my presentation?
No.
Uh,
No,
Not
we're
yet.
just seeing your smiling face, Bernard.
that's good, but before we checked, no, what has changed? So now I share. Okay, let me share. The sharing doesn't work anymore. Did we change something?
No.
Is there somebody else sharing? No? Select a window that you want to share. Oh, yes, okay, I'll do it. Now, this window. You see it now?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. And now I put it in presentation mode. Is that good?
Yeah. Full screen.
Full
Excellent.
screen. It's full screen, huh?
We have it.
Okay, thank you. So, yes, I call my presentation Space Renaissance for All. This is a motto that we have developed in the recent years. And as this goes also in synergy with other activities that we have conducted with the support of Space Renaissance International, but also with Lunex Sur Moon Mars. That is another foundation which is mostly research and capacity building that we created also 20 years ago, but also activities that I conduct as a professor in various universities over the world. So where I've got some student and support, also some funding, in particular in Riga, where we have established now a new chair for space, and we have organized some activities there, but also some activities we conduct in Nanjing, in Beijing, and in Leiden. And also I have some activities that are linked with my role at COSPAR as a vice chair of the COSPAR Exploration Panel and the Planetary Commission, as well as the executive director of the ILWIG, International Lunar Exploration Working Group, that is reporting to COSPAR, to space agencies, and also to space community. And still, some of the activities that we conduct at Space Renaissance are in a full collaboration with other organizations like IF, the International Astronomical Federation, that is organizing general Congress of Astronautics every year, but also other events like a global forum. Also IEA, the International Academy of Astronautics, EGU, the European Geoscience Union, where we have some activities. And we work still with ESA, where I have served before as chief scientist and the chair of the ESTEC staff. So let me remind everybody our credo, which is our mission to promote the expansion of civilization into outer space. And we want to connect aerospace and new space companies together with individuals, with institutions and space agencies. And our aim is to boost technological development for civil expansion into space. We want to also to promote economic, cultural, political relationship between our Space Renaissance members and also provide services, some products as well. And we have developed, in collaboration with partners, some education and some outreach initiatives worldwide that integrate science, technology, philosophy, arts, humanities, and society. And our vision is one of in a perspective of an open world. So one would say a solar civilization, and that goes even from Earth to geospace, lunar space, and beyond, and with a goal to include the whole solar system at some stage. So let's remind you that in 2021, we had a very successful Space Renaissance Congress on the theme of civilian space development. And we had a great final event party, but also we had a number of prestigious contributors to this debate with a presentation, with discussion. We had the Director General of ESA, but also Mars Society. We had talks from several of you. And before, we had discussed what would be the priorities for an action plan that would be from the period from 2021 to 2025, or for 5 years, so until, let's say, mid of next year, 2026. And this includes this action, which are very concrete, like going forward to the moon, not back to the moon, but really forward, develop proper industrial infrastructure to produce fuel in space, space debris recovery. So not only zero debris charter, but even beyond, recovering the space debris and reusing them, enhancing life protection in space, start experimenting with simulated gravity, target younger generation, support the development of 100% reusable space vehicles, produce food in space, space safety protection, support the space tourism industries, also study space-based solar power solution, support space-related art. So actually all these recommendations were the object of discussion by some of our members, and they came together to formulate some of these recommendations, and we discussed them, and then we voted to incorporate them in our work plan. Another recommendation was to add an 18 SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, which is to bootstrap the civilian space development, so we call that space for all on Earth and beyond. So we had we capture then this action plan. Of course, we cannot do all of this alone, but these are the topics, recommendations that we try to promote and advance the reflection, and also possibly contribute to the action to make some progress in some of this action plan. And I came from European Space Agency, where I love to develop actions and projects. And I happened to comment, okay, let's work on really putting this action in motion. And at this opportunity, I was asked to candidate for President of Space Renaissance. I did, and I was elected. So now I had no other choice than to work to try to make concrete plan of action. And on this, I was very much helped by a board that was also elected in the same around July 2021, and where we distributed a number of tasks. We have also a structure at Space Renaissance with some committees, and so we have some committees like a philosophy committee, legal committee, policy, and we have also space technology development with a set of committees, including living in space, including enabling young generation and so on. And I will ask at the end the chair of the committee to provide, or the members to provide some summary of what was done this year. Indeed, one of our recommendations to promote Space for All SDG 18 has taken quite some motion, and so that we have been supported in this by more than 110 organizations. And the idea is to, we have 17 SDG which were approved by UN towards 2030. And clearly space contributes to all these 17 SDG, but it's not very visible, and it doesn't take into account the fact that expanding humanity in space will allow a completely new perspective and possibility in terms of new resources, also providing some relief on the load that we put on our own environment on Earth, because we could, for instance, produce some activities in space. And so we have tried to promote this view in the UN system, but also in the public. And so this is a theme which I received quite good support from the public, while in the UN system they are a bit more resistant, because there are other choices, and the equilibrium for the 17 SDG for towards 2030 is established. So we have to see what we could do beyond 2030. Now I would like to introduce some concrete actions that I've been conducting with a consortium called Eurospace Hub that we have created with 5 universities, that is led by Vilnius Tech, but also we had international space universities. We had Complutense Madrid from Spain. We have even Chokolsky Aviation School from Kiev, and some NGO and companies, namely Collabwiz and Lunar Express Society, which is a society that I founded 20 years ago, but I took over recently after I retired from ESA again as a legal base for some of our research activities. And then we have a number of partners, and Eurospace Hub signed also an agreement with Space Renaissance International. The nice thing with Eurospace Hub that we received funding from the European Commission, from the innovation, higher education innovation, and from manufacturing branch of EU. We received some 2 million euros that we have used to develop some activities in the area of research, but also in the area of training space entrepreneur, space researcher, and also astronaut candidate. And also, we have developed an academy activities, and where we have developed some curriculum, not only in the classical scientific area of space, like astrophysics, planetary science, but also in the technical area, the development of instruments, of photonics methods, of rovers and CubeSat, the technology of spacecraft and space system engineering, and also space architecture. But also we have integrated some humanities and social science. So humanity is from a medical aspect, but also history, cooperation, space diplomacy, also art, design, and space, and as well some studies on social politics, inclusion, and space for all. So this area actually have some overlap with some of the activities conducted by the Space Renaissance committees. And there is some good possibility also to have some synergy as we are training the young professional to this area, but it will be good also to integrate them progressively into the committees with more advanced experts that we have in Space Renaissance. We also had a pillar on management and business, because actually we receive money to train space managers, so how to manage projects, how to develop sponsorships, how to manage careers, and manage data, and also manage communication to the public. And so now this curriculum is, which was developed, is partly made available online at a different level of access. But also we have continued on an activities to really train hands-on all of us that feel they want to be astronaut. And this goes very well into the vision of a Space Renaissance International that says that astronauts should be citizens. And so we are developing a program where citizens can be trained to, for instance, survive in space analogous missions. So we call that analog astronaut. We develop some habitat, and actually we designed and we built one that is owned in half by Space Renaissance. It was designed in Italy, and it was first tested in various sites in Padova, and various sites in Italy, and then in France, and now in the Netherlands. And we make that habitat available for young professionals, for researchers, also for public engagement. But we have been collaborating also with some analog astronaut training center where you can practice, for instance, zero-G parabolic flight, high-G centrifuge, hyperbaric chambers. We have also collaborated on rocket workshops, on balloons, stratospheric mission, and on basic flight training. So we believe that this academy, which is more technical oriented on hands-on activities, is very complementary to the Space Renaissance Academy, which is developing more, some material, so for white papers and also reflection to prepare our goal, which is the expansion of human civilization beyond the Earth. And now I would like then to give some example of really concrete activities that we have conducted. So some of them are linked with data analysis, in particular using machine learning technique, AI, for data analysis from Earth, Moon, Mars, and beyond. But here also I would like to show some progress in some activities linked with the development of payload that can be sent to space. In particular, we are already, through some various collaboration, we have a co-investigator on various experiments that has been flying to the Moon or Mars, or that will fly in the future to the Moon and Mars. And in the laboratory, we are testing some spectrometers to analyze samples, in particular soil samples that were collected in some of these field campaigns, or even some meteorites coming from the Moon and Mars. We have done also some work with telescopes observing the cosmos, but also observing planetary targets. And we have some activities in the area of rovers and cooperative robotics. Now, 15 years ago, with the support of ESA, I built a prototype lander called ExoGeoLab Lander, and this is made available to test what instrument could be put on the moon, but also on Mars, and even in the future on icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn, which is now the next frontier for robotic exploration. And we have focused with our moderate financial means on a small instrument, which are the size of a shoebox. And also on activities such as CubeSat, which can be very fruitful in terms of education of young professionals, but also going towards application and research. So we have also partnered with the COSPAR, Committee for Space Research, in particular is the Exploration Panel, where I am vice chair, to develop some model of instrument or CubeSat that could be duplicated by emerging countries and then allow to have space for all. We also do some work into teleoperation of some of these robotic asset and data network that would allow people from many emerging countries also to have access to the operation and data from future mission. So that's some example of asset we developed, 10, 15 years ago, but that are now made available to the community to test, robotic system and instruments. And in particular, last year, we developed a dedicated project, an education CubeSat, and in fact, with a team, mostly for this first phase, a team which is based in the Leiden, Delft, and Holland area. But really, you have been showing that designing and developing a CubeSat can be a great asset for training young professionals to research, technology, team building, learning to cooperate internationally.
Eu tenho que deixar isto ligado, mas...
Is it okay? You still follow me? That's all right? Yeah? Okay. And also looking at what could be after an education project, something that could lead to a research project or to an application. And that could be after even expanded, adapted to emerging countries, then along the line of space for all, even for CubeSat. So that's some example of a CubeSat. We had one version of a CubeSat in Earth orbit to observe the Earth, but also we had one for lunar orbit and one CubeSat that was tested on a rover base, and that could be brought to the surface of the moon. So we have tested it in Holland, but we look at opportunities to propose that, and this could also bring some of the values of Space Renaissance in the way that it is a project that is used to educate the next generation toward expanding their skills toward the moon or beyond. Another set of activities that we have continued last year, we have created a platform called Euromoon Mars. This was created 15 years ago, a platform that trained some young researchers and analog astronauts. We started in 2010 by training in the Utah desert with the Mars Society, with the support of Robert Zubrin, that was a speaker at our Space Renaissance Congress in 2021. And we have conducted in Utah some 15 campaigns of 2 weeks where we had on average 4 to 6 astronauts. And then we developed some activities in Europe, and in particular in 2021. Until now, we have developed 25 campaigns where we had some young professionals of mixed nationalities, mixed discipline, and also good gender mix that experience how a citizen would work and live on the moon in an extreme isolated environment. This is the base. One base is only an habitat which has no window, so you have the full isolation, and we are performing a really intense mix of scientific experiment, but also human factor experiment. So here you can see some pictures with some of the young professionals coming from Ireland, coming from Spain, coming from Ireland, again here. So that's how the facility looks like. So there is a kind of a geo laboratory, there is a social area with a mesa, and there is a rest area and a laboratory. And this has been a good experience for more than 25 crew from 4 to 6 people. So that's possibly around 100 young professionals were trained from our Your Mars Poland program, and they continue for many of them into space with this transformative experience of experiencing what it would take to really live on the moon, work on the moon. We had, for instance, this is a picture taken at one of the campaign where we had medical doctors, some of them already active as medical doctors, experiencing some medical protocols, emergency protocol, physiology measurements, testing some technology there that give a kind of comprehensive feedback to what could be the operation in a moon base. So we had even architect, and this is an architect from the Amsterdam Master of Architecture. Her topic was lunar habitat design, and so she developed some concept, but in order to validate the concept, she went to the moon with so a very mixed crew, you see. So she came from Brazil, but even if she's a master from Amsterdam, and she had a mixed crew with Indian, Canadian, French, Greek, and Poland collaborators. And based on this experience of living on the moon, she injected this into our lunar base design concept and made it much more concrete and obtained cum laude. So I would like to invite all of you to have a similar experience, to spend 1 week in a moon base. And also we try to mix the countries. Also, we want to develop experience where you can mix the generations, like we would be. And so we have this base available, and we are working now on an upgrade of this base for next year in Poland. But we have also access to another base that is run by one of our director, Julio Resende, in Brazil. And the base is called Habitat Marte, and that could be also a good opportunity. As you know, the Americans have a program called Artemis, and the Artemis program has started with Artemis 1, which has launched an Orion capsule around the moon in automatic mode without crew. And next year, possibly already in spring, we could have Artemis 2 with 4 astronauts going around the moon, not the surface, but around the moon for a period of 6 days. And this includes women and as well as a Canadian. And we are planning a series of Artemis missions to the moon. There is a project of Artemis 3 that should also bring 4 astronauts around the moon. And then 2 of them would go to the surface, and that would include the first women to the moon. That's for Artemis 3. At the moment, what was selected for Artemis 3 human lander is a Starship, which got some delay. And so in parallel to Starship, there is some study of an accelerated version using another human lander that would allow to have Artemis 3, let's say, before the end of the decade, or even possibly 2028. But we have done Artemis 3 ourselves before, last year, we tested putting the first woman on the moon, and that was Clara Laforêt. She was a collaborator, and she did a research project with us. And she spent 1 week in this moon base together with engineer Mathieu Harvey, and they tested some psychological protocol, radiation studies, virtual reality, operation of a rover, pupillometry experiment to measure stress, and even experienced operation in 3 days of blackout. Now we have a base in the US, Utah, but we have a base in Poland, and a new base will be built also in Poland with our collaborators. But we wanted also to develop a facility for doing research, training, education, and public engagement. And so we had a master student in architecture design from Politecnico Milano that developed the concept study for our master, and she got also a very good grade. So I hired her for 1 year to build it. And that's the habitat that was built when it was just delivered, so without experimentation, with a scientific rack, with area for putting experiment, and as well area for the rest and the sleep of 2 astronauts. So this facility was designed and really built in Italy, in Bergamo, and then it was installed in Padova and was made available there. And so it was also transported by some of us, including Adriano, our co-pilot, for this type of operation. And we brought it in various places in Europe, in Italy, in France, in Germany, and now it is in the Netherlands, where we installed it outside the Business Innovation Center of ESA. And it has not only a laboratory module, but also an expanded inflatable structure that allows to have more space for physical exercise, for putting experiment, for growing plants, and also for public events. And we have conducted some public events like in Padova Botanical Garden. Then we went to Paris Saclay University for Science Week. We did some activities also in the Netherlands, and then we returned to Padova for Science Festival, where we got more than 10,000 visitors. And then we went back to France, to other area in Grenoble, in the south of France, and now it is in the Netherlands, being used for research and for preparing the next summer, where it could be used and transported for operation in other places of Europe. And okay, you can see we also not only we perform research, but also we invite some young visitors. For instance, we even have a program where we can welcome classes or very young astronauts to have this experience of living on the moon. Now, we have been also collaborating with other groups that are organizing campaign, either field campaign in places like the Moon and Mars, like Etna volcano, where every year we have done some campaign. I mentioned we started in Utah, Mars Desert Research Station, which is very well located for a landscape condition very similar to early Mars. But also we have done some sporadic campaign in Atacama Desert in Chile or in Iceland. Now for Iceland, we have a group of young professionals that took over their activities and even created their own company supported by ESA to organize analog campaign in Iceland and elsewhere. And that's my former student, Mark Emskerk and Charlotte Powell, that are running this. And we have also a strong collaboration with the International Moon Base Alliance that is based in Hawaii and that is owned by Hank Rogers, the owner of the Tetris game, and that invested some of his wealth in developing a very realistic moon base on the Mauna Loa volcano, and we have conducted a number of campaigns there since 2015. So from the point of view of humanities, we developed as well some flagship project, a moon gallery project, where we're using some concept of a tray of samples that we have previously launched to the International Space Station. We adapted this to send a mix of art and science experiments. So we sent that already in 2022 to the International Space Station. But this year, we have developed a concept really that carry the flag emblem of Space Renaissance, because we called it Space Renaissance for All Gallery. So it contains an art science tray with astrobiology samples from various parts of Earth, some biological organisms, as well as soil from all continents of Earth, as well as some meteorite from Moon, Mars, and asteroids, so that came to the surface of the Earth, we sent back to space. And also we made a call for space artists to contribute, so in collaboration with Moon Gallery, Art Moon Mars, our platform that we developed 15 years ago, Moon Mars Museum, and also some platform called Art for EO, Art for Earth Observation, that is art inspired by Earth observation. We have put some artwork of 20 artists. We have also sent some seeds. Some of the artists are actually from our Space Renaissance art chapter, which was led by Sabine Heinz, and I'm happy that Sabine Heinz is going to rejoin our Space Renaissance activities. In the meantime, we have also received Gulin Dede. So she's a good collaborator, expert in space and Earth observation, and she's now helping the coordination of our Space Renaissance art chapter. But as well, she's possibly preparing a space and art exhibit at the United Nations Copios. With Ars Electronica and with some funding from Austrian ministry and some contribution from Space Renaissance International. Now, on board of this Space Renaissance for All Gallery, we had this art science tray, but we had also a partnership tray, so celebrating the organization that we have been working with. So you can see on the right tray, the top left, you can see the logo of Space Renaissance. We had also a movement that's the second one called Space for Peace. We had ILWIG, you had UN flag, you have Space Generation, you had COSPA, you have ESA and this Space Business Innovation Center. We had also the International Academy of Astronautics, International Space Universities, IAF, and also a number of universities that have collaborated in our program. Our good friend from NSS, National Space Society, and also from Mars Society, and some of the collaborators from our research initiative, and as well humanities initiative. Actually, here you can see some discs that are coated with a logo, and you can see 20 logos, but the other side is also coated, so we have more than 40 partners into this project. So this assembly, this gallery was assembled inside a capsule that was built by the exploration company. The capsule is called Nix, and the capsule was then delivered to SpaceX with a launch that happened on 23rd of June 2025 from Vandenberg base in California. And the idea of this capsule was to test a cargo return system, and the launch was perfect. our payload went into orbit with some other payload. The re-entry worked well, but after re-entry, we lost communication with the capsule. So we could not localize exactly the capsule and recover it. So at the moment, I have only the exact spare version of what we sent to space. But we have the proof that all these artifacts went to space, and we hope to be able to send them again to space, and the next time to the International Space Station with some adaptation of what could be this new version of Space Renaissance for All gallery. And there is also after the opportunity to send that to the moon orbit and then to the moon surface. So this gallery has traveled all around the world. And so I take advantage of the various events that I am attending to bring it along and to advertise to our partners. This was, for instance, an IAF Global Expression Conference that took place in New Delhi. And actually, Space Renaissance co-sponsored a special panel forum there with ILOA and with COSPA. We even brought it to a gigantic event, which was in Shanghai, celebrating international exchange of professionals, where more than 1,000 professors were invited from worldwide to assemble in Shanghai and then to go to some 100 universities in China. And at this opportunity, we could have the Secretary General of UNESCO or some Nobel Prize holding our Space Renaissance for All gallery, but also some young, very enthusiastic colleagues. So, in a summary, so Space Renaissance has been participating to some of these concrete hands-on activities. The Space SDG 18 initiative, some data analysis from previous space mission, participation to instrument, and we look also at ways to put some payload on future space mission. We organize some analog feed campaign in conditions similar to Moon and Mars. We collaborated with Eurospace Sub Academy and with also astronautics training program, and also in particular with Space Renaissance, we have developed some of the advocacy, policy, humanistic, cultural, and society aspect. Now, I would like also to give credit to some of the colleagues from the board. In particular, there was an initiative led by Joe Pelton, SRE board member, and also the president of the ESS Alliance for ESS. And maybe, Joe, you would like to say a few words?
Well, we have been working a lot on the living in space activities. We have 14 organizations who have now joined into that coalition, and I've on the website is shown there for anybody who would like to go and see what we're up to. I worked with Adriano and other members of the board to stage 2 Zoom-based presentations on this topic. We had 3 former astronauts on one of the panels, and people from, I think, over 30 countries participated in that event, and we had speakers, I think, from some 15 or 16 countries over the 2 events. We also are organizing a book to be published by Springer Press called Challenges for Living in Space, and many members of the board are participating in that book. And we also have organized a special issue of Frontiers in Space Technology, again, which many members of the board have participated in. I think we have 9 of the 10 articles there in some sort of a process of being coordinated and reviewed or published. We have also tried to form a good active committee who will help support the Congress that will be in 2026. On my own, I have developed and published a book called Future Challenges for NASA that create a 30-year series of strategic plans. And as you can see on the cover of the book shown there, we gave a good deal of attention to trying to achieve a true space habitat. This is from the, I think, the Stanford Torus design study shown there. So these are some of the things that we've been very active in. We have a coalition of I think 14 organizations who are working with us, and we're very pleased that our organization has been now admitted as a permanent observer for COPIUS and its subcommittees, and we're in the process of trying to join the Economic and Social Council of the UN in New York part for next year. But the main thing is we really try to work with SRI and being a member of the board, wearing both hats to try to advance living in space things, and we have a great committee working on that.
Excellent. And I think it's very important to capture, in written documents that will stay in books. Also, this very well organized Living in Space workshop, some of our material, and then it can stay and it can be used by the community. Excellent. I have also a report from Alberto Cavallo. So if you want to go through.
Yes, I have listed some of the activities that I made in this year that is ending. Just to remember that we had the Space Renaissance Italia Congress in last June. That was because we restarted the Italian chapter of Space Renaissance. So I participated and I presented also as a speaker, besides supporting the activities of the Congress. And I presented about a topic that I'm working about. I've been working for some time. This is about energy and the connection to data centers in space. That is something that the Arduino devised initially, and I then developed. Then I participated to the International Astronautical Congress in Sydney, and where I presented another paper about data farms in space and the relevant consideration of about energy, economy, and environment. And I also presented to the IAC our observations to the Space 2030 agenda that we developed as being part as observers of COPUS. And then next year I'll go on with the updates about these topics and about other things that I'm developing for the Space Renaissance International Congress of next year. That will be our periodical congress. That will be a big event for us. And when I'll update that about data centers, the presentation about data centers, and also I'll present something about considerations about how the space launches sector is evolving. And then other activities that will come in the year.
Excellent. Thank you, Alberto. Yes, indeed. Catanzaro and ISC were very, very full activities. I received also some notes from Marie-Louise Heuser, but unfortunately she had another event at the same time. But clearly she has been quite active with the philosophy and history committee and a number of activities. Also, Amalie, I don't know if she's with us. So Amalie has written some and presented some presentation, Amélie Sinclair, at the UN. Are there other members that would like to share in 30 seconds, some highlight of their activities for 2025 and plan for 2026. Denise, you want to share anything?
Well,
Thank you. Oh, I'm
yeah, I'll
sorry.
go after Denise. I got something to share.
Okay.
I'm Dennis O'Brien. I've been helping a lot in the areas of space law and policy. I try to respond to specific questionnaires that we get sent from the United Nations, COPUOS, and various subcommittees. Most recently, that has to do with a formatted response to a questionnaire about the Space 2030 agenda.
Mhm.
I'm finishing that this week. Coming up, I hope to work on something, request that we just got from ATLAC, the Action Team on Lunar Activity Consultation, which may well evolve into that type of clearinghouse that we've been thinking about, where activities can be notified and cataloged and various information collected in the same place. I think there's a lot there, and it's a good sign that COPUOS has established this new action team. And so I hope to continue to write on those. My dream is to actually get to the LSC meetings in the spring in Vienna, but
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, I'll just keep writing these necessary responses to COPUOS whenever they ask us for information.
Okay, thank you very much. So
you.
here I have put a list to some of the events where we have been participating as invited speaker or as organizer. And you can see, indeed, there have been a lot happening this year. And I have also put some color code. So in red are events which are really of international nature. In blue, events happening in Europe. In white, these are in the Asia Pacific, and orange in the US. And you can see a lot is happening in the Asia Pacific. These are the white color one, where we have been invited to make presentation there. So clearly, we should also try to work out to be more present in US event. So in US event, there is a more science-oriented Lunar Planetary Science Conference in March, but we had also the ISDC that was taking place in Orlando, and some of us gave a talk there. But clearly, and we have luckily the Living in Space, which was a worldwide event, but where there was a strong US presence. But I think we have to make some special effort to enhance, our participation to US events, making use of our US members to start with, but also looking at ways to allow some of the travel of the others there. But clearly, a lot of Asia Pacific events, and these are events where sometimes we find ways as well to get some financial support to attend. So we will continue, and there's a lot happening in Asia indeed. So I could go very fast. So Macau, there was a Space Planetary Conference. Vienna, okay, clearly we have the COPUOS STC, which is Science Statistical Committee, and we have been there with a delegation of 4 or 5 persons, with Adriano, with Werner, with Marie-Louise, and myself, so sharing a bit of time. There was also a nice event organized in Rabat, in Morocco, covering Africa, Middle East as well, space community. And it was a actually the only event we had in Africa. So that's also something where we are ready to think what could be our action towards Africa. And then we had an event in Parliamentary Conference in India. And there is an event which I believe is easy to attend and is very useful for us, is end of March Paris IAF and IEA Spring Committee meetings. So it's a good place where Space Renaissance can have some voice also by participating to the number of IAF committees where we have a number of members that are there due to their affiliation to Space Renaissance. Then we had this, yeah?
Susan, I think, is also online, and she's co-chair of the Living in Space conference, and participated in both the articles for the Frontiers of Space Technology as well as the book, and she might add a few words about.
Oh yeah, okay, excellent. Yes, you want? Is she online?
Oh, yes, I am. Thank
Oh
you
yes,
so
please.
much, Joe.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
thank you for the
Yes, thank you.
opportunity, and hello, everybody. Yeah, no, that was great, and I think our publication there has been accepted, Joe. So they just typesetting it, and they'll
Very
let
good.
us know. Yeah, so thank you for that opportunity, and of course, everybody here at SRI. No, I want to point out something. I would like to lead the US SRI, but over the years, since I started, I had mentioned over the years, right, Adriano, that I would like to, but I feel like I can't because there are other older, they're not here, members that had started before me with SRI,
Yeah.
and I feel like I don't want to step on their feet, but over the years, I've tried to get this up and going, and there was all these challenges, X, Y, and Z, and I just stepped back because I just felt like, if they were there before me, and then maybe I'll let them lead. And so I stepped back. But I don't see any action. I don't see any activity per se with regards to anything with the US side of SRI. So
Yeah.
I want to speak up now and say, do you want me to take charge of the SRI US side? I mean, I don't need to take over the whole of US chapter. All I would be interested in the outreach, the STEM, the astronautics, the academy. If I just don't want to step on anyone's
Yeah,
foot. You see what I mean?
yeah,
So
I
you need
understand.
to officially let me know in what capacity, in what role do you want me to take the SRI US side? Because I think is it Dr. G, I forgot her name now.
Yeah.
Several on there. I don't see them participating quite actively in any of the SRI lately, the last 6 months meetings. So I don't know where you want to go with this, but I'm proposing to take that SRI US chapter and make it very active for 2026. But you need to define what are my roles, what can I have to do, and then have that announced with the US group, right? If we have a formal US group right now,
Yeah.
I don't even know where it is.
So I would like to
Could I
propose.
just add
Yeah.
that maybe it would be good for you and Adriano, Susan, and myself to have a Zoom call to discuss this. I think Susan makes some very good points, and I do think we should offline discuss
Yeah.
what might be possible.
Yeah, I would say there are 2 points where we have to make progress. One is organization by SRI US of special activities, but the other one, and you can qualify immediately as board member, you can represent the whole Space Renaissance Global in any event of importance in the US. And for instance, there are events organized like the ISDC. There will be event in Colorado Springs, the Space Foundation event. So there, I think you should represent SRI globally as board member, not only as US. And I think you could do that right away. Anything which is happening in the US, you are really our ambassador on the front line. because you have the proximity and you know well the ecosystem. So
Yeah.
we should find a way to participate to those events organized by others naturally. And then if we want to organize Space Renaissance event US, that requires more workforce. And in that case, I think that your contribution is very welcome, but we should try to add on this contribution to others. I know they do some nice social activities locally. Okay, they have a good time, they meet, but it's true that this could be enhanced.
Well, anyway, I think we should have an offline discussion.
Yeah, there could be a offline discussion, but I believe that by default, all the board members have to find a way to participate to important events that are taking place over the world. And if it takes place in your continent, you should have the the priority to represent us there.
Right. No, oh, sorry. Right. No, I understand, Bernard, and thank you for clarifying that. But my concern is because I'm here in the US, so this
Yeah.
is my main territory until next year when actually going to be half-time in UK and Europe.
Okay.
But right now, US is my territory. So my concern is from the start, a couple of years back when I first joined SRI, as you all know, that we were trying to get the US chapter to become another entity, right?
Yeah.
Under another I don't know, board.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we had all this issue, and I don't know where that went, but I feel like there are some individuals from the from the original set of SRI for the US chapter, is that I felt when I started working with them at the beginning that they wanted to lead it. And so I just stepped back because I don't want to step. But in the last year or so, there's like no activity. So what I want to propose is I'd like to actually activate, but it needs to have Adriano and you, Bernard, and we will talk, of course, Joe, have this meeting offline, but you need to actually make a decision how to move forward with the US group.
Yeah. Yes, I fully agree. So we can.
I agree that something should be done for Space Renaissance USA, because it's a long history, and we can maybe retake the thread of that and try to do something. And we also have Gary that maybe can.
So we have a lot of assets.
He would be supportive of this project.
At a minimum, I'm happy to be a cooperative and collaborative force ghost. And where the key thing is that I'm not, I don't need to collect any more titles in particular, but I want to be as helpful as I can.
You can collect tasks. And I think a very important task would be, for instance, organizing some joint session at ISDC. A joint session where Space Renaissance help to define a subsession. Then you can make use of all the logistics of ISDC, but you could bring the content of Space Renaissance.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things in particular, which I think holds an interesting opportunity, is this notion of taking a sustainable settlement design charrette to the next level. And a proposal that I'm working on, which I would very much like SRI to be a part of, is the taking as opposed to a situation where it is people essentially talking at others about what they've done, is create an environment where we're engaging folks in a collaborative process of how we evaluate and understand what has been done in the context of what we need to do. And the idea of being able to take in where each of the participants in the design charrette brings to the table pieces of a solution that they think makes sense with respect to particular elements or systems, and attempt to articulate how it fits into the broader context of an overall system of systems. Effectively, think of it with the interactive displays at IAC, where
Yeah.
instead you effectively had a the ballroom where there are individual ongoing presentations from each of the participants, and then a group, if you will, evaluation of how they can be successfully integrated.
Mhm.
What's working, what's not. And the idea being is that I think that there's going through and developing a corpus of understanding of what we know, and what we know we don't know is
Okay.
something that could be of extraordinary value. And what I'm proposing is as opposed to an hour and a half session, a morning or an afternoon, or effectively a full day workshop, if you will, on what are the driving requirements on sustainable settlement.
Okay, well, you
I
got
want to.
the task. Yes.
No, that's a great idea, Gary.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Okay.
But I want to clarify, I do not want any more titles. Okay? That's
Yeah,
not
of
my
course.
point of why. No, that is not my point of why
No.
I'm proposing what I was saying. I
Yeah,
want to try to see if we can move the US
exactly.
chapter forward. I don't
Action.
care about titles. I have enough titles.
Yeah, yes.
All right.
I see, I'm
And
sure.
so I want to be clear in why I'm saying this.
Yeah.
It's because there's been a lot of inactivity
Yeah,
right
we have,
now on the US side. And so I just wanted to put that forward. I don't even want to lead it. I have too much on my plate. But whoever wants to take that, whoever wants to try to get the US side active
yeah,
under SRI, go with it. I just want to bring that out into this meeting. It's end of the
yeah,
year, 2026 is starting. And
yeah.
if we
So,
don't get anything moving forward, then they'll still stay static and nothing happens on the US.
yeah. Okay, so that thanks you, because that leads me naturally to my next slide. So let's see. This slide, you see a lot of events, and I had to do a lot of the traveling. And I think this has to change. We have to share a bit more the traveling. I understand, okay, this year we had ISA in Australia. It was a long distance, it was expensive, but I had to spend 4 weeks in Asia Pacific. That was a lot of my time, and I think that next year we are going to do the thing differently. So this is what I see. Oh, okay. This is some of the event I identify for next year. Okay, they are less first because but we have to find. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. So we have to find that there are more opportunities for us to engage our board members to be active. In particular, as we are discussing US, so we have the Virginia ISDC in June, where I think we have to make a really massive effort to have a role there and to have several of our board members active there, to co-organize some sessions, to attend. It's easily accessible. And so I would really like our US colleagues to take the lead there, to be active in some of sessions and to organize them partly with the SRI label. I know you have different affiliation, but to bring a bit SRI there. So the Virginia ISDC. There is also the Colorado Springs conference in April. That could be a good venue for some of you to represent Space Renaissance. I know I'm not planning to go there because we have something else at the same time, but and we have as well some opportunity. Next year, ISC will be in Turkey, which is much easily accessible for many of us. It's more central, it's less costly. So that's something that where we can really be more effective. Otherwise, we have also our virtual congress, SRI, and we have also other initiatives which have been proposed, other activities like a congress with Vaticano, with the Vatican. So eventually, you know, there are some, there is room for some other events and activities that we could conduct next year with Space Renaissance.
I can,
Yes,
Bernard, if you like, I can
yes,
say something about our activity for Corpus because
exactly. Yeah,
we are doing many more things than what it appears publicly, and one is the huge work we are doing for Corpus,
yes.
and this is the what we presented just today. We delivered to the UNUSA submission
Yeah.
a small document with some 6 abstracts that we would like to present at 2026. So
Mhm.
I can share it just to show you
Yeah, yeah.
what we are doing. Uh, uh, okay, so I just will go through the document saying the titles, let me say, but however, this is for the
Should I stop sharing, or
scientific
are you
scientific.
showing a document, or you just reading?
I am sharing the document. Can you see it?
Okay, I stop sharing then. Okay, yeah, perfect.
Okay, so we have just sent it today because today was the deadline to submit,
Yeah.
and so we are proposing a general technical presentation about SRI and presenting our Congress, our World Congress, Quality of Life on Earth and Beyond, and to the Scientific and Technical Subcommittee. We are proposing an abstract about artificial intelligence, help
Yeah.
and need for civilization and for civilian space development. Another abstract about simulated gravity, space habitats and vehicles design, humanist requirements,
Yeah.
more redundancy of life supporting systems, full protection from the sun and cosmic radiations, moon and geolunar space development, moon and Lagrange point settlements and industrialization, orbital debris reuse, space-to-space vehicles, because we are advancing. So you have to, but you know it because you are participating. This is the summary of the work of our committees in 2025 and what we are planning to do in 2026. So we are in some cases generating new concepts, or let me say in our aim at some advanced concept. For instance, to think about space-to-space vehicles, not only about launchers from Earth surface to orbit, but from Earth orbit to moon orbit and so on. This will be what it will be very much needed. And this kind of vehicles, we have quite different requirements with respect to the launchers from Earth, of course. Living in free space, a choice of freedom, more compliant with humanist requirements. And another subject that is becoming very much important is space situational awareness and traffic management, and space weather and orbital debris coordination, the need of international coordination on this subject. So we are working on that and developing contents also for our Congress, of course. All of these subjects are also contents that we are developing for our Congress. And then, okay, this is for the scientific and technical subcommittee that is in February.
Yeah.
Or the legal subcommittee that's a little bit later, and we are not requested to present now. However, we have announced some points enhancing the UN 2030 agenda. Traffic by the meaning of an 18 SDG, of course. Traffic management and space situation awareness from the legal point of view. Before we were talking about technical,
yeah.
From a legal point of view. Orbital debris recovery and reuse, and the UN flag on the moon proposal of endorsement, And rights of space settlers, universal human rights, right to development. This is following our campaign that we made in 2025 when we went at Copos with a leaflet called "We Speak for Space Settlers." We speak for the settlers. So we are thinking about in a non-colonialist view, but in a settlement, in a pioneer view, and so on. Then, okay, for the General Assembly, this is to be defined at the end. However, just to give you
that's
an idea
excellent.
of the huge work we are doing, because this all of this is a conceptual work. So
but it's a great approach how we should prepare professionally these different events. So thanks to the deadline, okay, we have a product now, and I think we have also to think as well for the other events where there will be a deadline in particular, and we should identify who are the attendees. For instance, COSPAR assembly that's in August in Florence. The deadline for abstract will be 13 February. Also, IAC, Antalya, the deadline for abstract will be 15th of March. So we have a bit of time, but we need also to start defining who are the SRI members, board, and others that plan to represent us at these various events. So very nice that you have done it for the Copios STC, and also for the legal one, we start to have a kind of frame where you see where we could prepare, and then we can iterate on that. I think that's a correct process to be more effective in preparing our work for these events. So the one which are coming very soon, the Copios STC. We should also think very soon, do we organize something special for the Paris IF Spring Committee meetings?
Yeah.
So who are the members? Because we have a number of members that are also part of some IF committees. So we should, define some participation. Also, we have to look at logistic aspect of how we can support some of our members to attend to this event where they do a significant work. And before we had some grants we could give, we had some donations, so we should also establish a preliminary budget for some of these activities, or what is the minimum we need, and also how we can look for sponsors to cover some of these activities, either generic, some linked with some themes, like SDG 18 or so on, and some linked with a specific event.
Yeah, and for sure, next year we have to make something about the space, the 18 SDG, because people is calling for that, and we have now 116 organizations.
Yeah, 116, yes.
And yeah, so they deserve to have some initiative in next year, and also to retake the work to get some UN member state to endorse the proposal and present it officially in September to the General Assembly. And what the other thing I want to say is that we are also working to another big work, that is the thesis, the main thesis for the Congress, for our Congress. And I cannot show anything so far because it's still
this is for the beginning of the year. So now we have the end of year event. We can try to close the year. And then we will do a kickoff of the new year with some plan of action. Yeah.
And for sure, Bernard, you say something is very important, that if we have to travel, we should have money to do that, because this year I wasn't able to travel as I made it in the previous 2 years, because in the previous 2 years I spent very much more money than what it entered to my to my cash, and I had to give a kind of rule to myself. So, but okay, so we should try to organize better for next year, of course. And okay.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. You see, less events. So less events. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's for me. That's it. I brought a glass though to celebrate the end of year. If there are other points, I have also actually prepared a small slideshow of some picture I took during some of the events I attended. I don't know if you are interested.
Sorry, if I can, Bernard, because I see that we have Guling there.
Exactly.
Here.
Oh, good.
And
Yes.
since she is now co-chair of our art chapter,
Yes.
if you like, could you say something maybe?
Yes. Okay. Excellent.
You like it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, perfect. It works. Yeah. I also brought my glass full of fantastic water. So cheers to all that we have here on Earth and all the efforts to put there into a workable solution in space as well. I would like to offer my contributions for the thesis, Adriano, as we spoke about it earlier. So I would love to help you and the team go forward with that. And on the other side, this year I was busy. Maybe I could tell a little bit about the artwork that Bernard recalled in his presentation. That I also made a submission to UNOSA, but not in the abstract way, in the form of event exhibition submission.
Bernard, could you stop sharing?
So sorry. Yeah. Okay.
See the speaker.
Yeah. Excellent. Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
This happened in the form of an event exhibition submission. This is now with their infrastructure committee. Hopefully, if they approve it, we will have a chance to exhibit. What I put together, and Ars Electronica is the implementation partner for that, but that will give us the floor to also present the Art for All gallery. So that will be very nice. And this would give us also more visibility for the art and media lab part of the game, where I'm trying to support a lot of.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and of course, Gelin is also an important contributor to what we could organize in Antalya at ISE. She knows very well the space Turkish ecosystem, and I think that we could think like we did in Milano, think of organizing a booth where we could advertise of our activities, our product, and also include art, humanities, and technology there. So that's something that we should think relatively soon. Also, there is opportunity to propose special sessions for ISE. It's very competitive, but that's an option. The deadline is like February as well. But in any case, a booth is something that we should certainly consider, and the cost would be less than Milano. And I think that's and we can also have partnership with some local organization, and so to engage also our counterpart in Turkey.
Sounds great, and you are warmly welcome to Turkey, where I speak the local language quite fluently.
Very good. So she can she can teach us Turkish before we go there, and
certainly.
And save us when we are there. Yeah.
Could I say something?
Yeah.
This is Walter Hammond. I'm U.S. I just got a note from Susan Jewell let's have a meeting with Joe and Adriano about forming, helping the United States presence on SRI.
Very good.
So we're going to do that. And the other action I have is to contact Alberto Cavallo about, he needed, I believe you needed some support on a paper, Alberto, or is that right?
Okay, we will try to organize a Zoom call with our US members that are available to support this tentative to reorganize the.
Yeah.
We should include Gary and Hank and all the people who you know can help support this. But we do have an organizational issue to resolve.
Yeah.
I'm
Great.
happy to be supportive of the same.
Yeah. And in parallel, organizing our contribution to the big US event. This we can do it, you know, at a global level, ensuring that we are present in ISDC, in any big event which is relevant for us. You know, so that's we can also advertise Space Renaissance Global in the US.
Yeah, I think ISDC is the first, because it was a shame that in 2025 we couldn't be there, and for sure we have to do better next year. And yeah, let's talk with Gary and everybody, and Susan, and yeah.
So
okay.
And I can help.
And I'm ready to earmark a bit of budget for that, for some of the you know, the active participation of some of our board members into you know, strategic activities.
Yeah.
Does anyone actually know personally the IAC you know, chair for Turkey?
You mean I know the local chair and as well the program committee chair.
Yeah, the reason being is the notion of an interactive workshop will be a different level of programming for IAC, and so the idea that you know, IAC is not just a reporting and a networking exercise, but it's actually moving work forward.
Yeah.
Okay, would add an additional dimension.
So
to IAC.
Yes, they have a perfect format for that. It's called special session. And
Well, the special sessions are typically limited to an hour to an hour and a half.
Ah, you want more?
Okay. I essentially want to go through and set up a workshop, you know, in a sense like the UN
IF workshop.
You know, deals, but the idea is that it isn't a set of folks that are just telling you what they've done. The idea with the charrette is exploring how you take what's done and apply it.
Okay.
To the problems at hand.
Yeah. So you can organize something like that on the weekend before.
Well, that's you know, that represents a possibility.
Using the excuse of committees.
And
you can
the
say
Space
it's
Habitats Committee, the Space Power Committee, and the Space Systems Engineering Symposia are all, you know, because of my various roles.
So you could
are
put
all on board with this.
Yeah, so you could put even some side-to-side committee sessions, and you could extend then the length of a workshop if you wish this way.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to go and you know, write up an outline of this, and what I'd love to be able to do is find particularly some folks that you know, speak Turkish and you know, can interact with the local committee, and we get you know, of course the you know, the overall IAF you know, involved.
So
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea, Gary. Let's start drafting now.
Yeah.
It's the best way.
Now, if you want a young professional, you have also the possibility to sponsor the Space Generation Congress that is taking place before IF. If you sponsor and you say, as part of my sponsorship package, I propose a kind of workshop activities, then you could engage, some 50 young professionals. That depends what is your target group.
My target group in this regards is bringing together some folks that want to get something built.
Yeah.
We can talk about many things.
Yeah.
Okay. But getting to the shared understanding of the science, the systems engineering, and the architectural design, how those all have to come together to have a realized arcology. I think that is something we can make a very real contribution to.
Yeah, and I think that your idea, because you are talking about designing a moon base, for instance, what you do at the top level could be a very important information for us to build some prototype of analog base on Earth.
Absolutely.
And this is a topic which you see it's dear to my heart, but also Gwelin is currently working on an habitat simulation she wants to in place in Turkey.
Right. And it's not just, it is not just figuring out how we can survive, it's how we can thrive.
Yeah,
And
we
one
want
of
to
the
work also. We want to
extraordinary
work and
things in
thrive.
Turkey, I forgive me for mispronouncing it. It's the city that's built into a mountain there.
You have a city in a mountain? Oh, we should visit that. We should install our moon base there.
Absolutely. So I don't, that's one of the things that I wanted to encourage. It's Cornucopia. My apologies, I'm mispronouncing it. How do you pronounce it properly?
Yeah, claustrophobia. But we have a good
so
remedy.
that needs to be a part of what we do in Turkey.
Yeah. You know what we do? We in our moon base, we have a screen where we project the image of the Earth. Then you are not completely inside anymore. So maybe that can.
Bernard, if I could just step in. So
please,
now
please
you mentioned habitats are so close to your heart, and Earth observation is so close to mine.
Yeah,
so images of the Earth, definitely we can bring in colorful images of the Earth as well to wherever we design those habitats, and that's really spot on with what I'm trying to put together as well. So that would be a great session. Also, Gary, you have my full support in however you would like to go forward with the coordination of that. And meanwhile, just to recall that I'm also lecturing at Turkey at the university, fourth graders. So they are really keen to make a difference as they step out of university and maybe take up jobs or build their own companies, because what I'm lecturing on is only two lessons. One is space entrepreneurship in the fall semester, and the other one is in the spring semester, space simulations. So this is really very interesting to bring all these young and enthusiastic people participating to your sessions. For instance, I have 35 students this semester on my space entrepreneurship class.
Oh, cool.
Fantastic.
So
Look forward to talking with you further.
You have a space entrepreneurship program?
Well, actually, it is the Department of Astronautical Engineering. So the program is about astronautical engineers, but space entrepreneurship is part of the lessons that they get on the fourth grade.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
because
I'm
working on deep tech, including green propulsion and things like that. And I already been finalist to a worldwide American defense competition. So I'm very interested into deep tech and in STEM and entrepreneurship and things like that. So where are you located?
Phil, I'm located in Germany and in Netherlands. Let's say foothold between the two. And I also mentor and on space entrepreneurship. Also, I do support to startups as well. So I'm in the board of a few startups, and I try to help them with implementing AI, implementing space technologies. So those are the kind of niches I can help with, alongside just academically lecturing.
Is your formation remote or just local, or?
For my lectures in Turkey, in Ankara, I'm doing it remotely. Every semester, I'm there in person as well for some hands-on work and for my interactions with the faculty. For other things, it could be in person or remote. Recently, we had a great experience through Bernard's Era Chair activities in Latvia. So where I had the chance to mentor a team of students, and they happened to receive an award as well. Perhaps Bernard would like to tell more on this.
Yeah, but I think this idea of a workshop, which is also quite comprehensive in terms of some lecture, but also project group, hands-on activities, and also entrepreneurship and business. It's a model we could, develop with Space Renaissance, with some partners. We could also think to do something right before ISE. Eventually, a few days before ISE, organize our own workshop locally, but open both to students from Turkey, but also international participants that would just anticipate their travel to ISE. Yeah, good perspective. Excellent. So I think that.
Are we ready for
Yes, exactly. So on this promising, prospect for next year, I raise my glass to you, to Space Renaissance, to your family and friends. Yes, best wishes for the end of year. And beginning of next year, yes, we have a few tasks we will kick off, but let's relax now.
Yeah, long life to SRI.
Yeah, long life.
The adventure continues in no uncertain terms.
Yeah, cheers. And let me capture this picture of us celebrating. Okay, all the best then.
All the best.
Bye.
Yeah. Ad Astra. Ad Astra.
Ad Astra. Yeah.
Cum liquore.
Okay.
Sorry, Dr. Gillen, is that it? Your name? Dr. Gillen?
Correct.
Can you post your email in the chat?
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Excellent. All the best.
Thanks, everybody. Ad Astra.
Thank you. Ad Astra.
See you next year.
Yeah, see you.